everyone. Thanks for tuning in to that cosplay show presented by Cosplay Zine. I am Troy B, your necessary nerd, and I have a special guest with me here today.
Hello, my name is Seafoam. I'm an East Coast cosplayer, and I've been cosplaying for about 4 or 5 years. I'm trying to think. I'm a big competition. I mainly work with competitions, and I love judging and competing. And I'm currently at a German level, and I've won competitions all across the East Coast and international. And I'm also a college student at the moment with a double major, so we're doing great.
Awesome. So, question how did you get started with this? When did you go, this cosplay thing, this is my thing, so to say?
Yeah. I got started. I think it was my freshman year in high school. My friends got me into Homestuck, and God, Homestuck was a task to read. But I eventually got through it, and they're just like, we have to cosplay this, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure about it. But they eventually, they dragged me into it, and I cosplayed Nepeta. She was a little cat girl, and I put on the cakey gray troll makeup, and it looked awful, and the wig cracked when I walked because I put too much 2B hairspray in there. We went to this super little con near me. It was it was just super small, a few vendors there. My mom did not like it. She was a little apprehensive about me coming, but she was like, who are these people? I don't like all these people in costumes. And lo and behold, I became one of those people who, just prance around the convention center. And I had a fantastic time, and I met so many people. And I think I actually know most of those people that I met at the first con I know today. And it just kind of took off from there. And especially when I first went to Katsucon. Katsucon was the big convention for me, when I kind of realized what people could do with foam, and what people could do with their communities, and what people could do with fabric. And it was amazing to me that people could defy gravity with hot glue, and that just really propelled me into the cosplay community.
Yeah. So, when you got in, were there more difficult costumes to create than others, and when you're wearing them, is there one that's kind of your go-to for more casual, or and one's a little bit comparingly a little bit more stressful to wear?
Definitely. I mean, oh god, definitely. That's why there's a term called Sunday cosplays, where we designate a few cosplays. We're just this is when we're just exhausted. But I'm mostly a seamstress. I like to work with fabrics. I like to work with patterns, and more of that the garment area of cosplay. I'm trying to dip into foam. I recently created a Atlantic Mercy cosplay, which was mainly out of foam, which was my first attempt at armor and all that good stuff. And it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was really great. And subsequently, that was one of the hardest things to wear, because I felt so stiff. I had these warble bracers that just I couldn't move my arms, and I couldn't bend my legs, and it was a tough thing to wear. And I think at the end of the day, I died. I took off all of the cosplay, and I just went to bed immediately. But it was great, because I had these giant wings that were about my height, and I'm about 5 feet, and they would part the crowds for you, so I could walk into a room, and everyone would just part for me, which would be great. It's a great COVID cosplay as well, since it's that 6 feet distance. I do have a bunch of easier cosplays, and those are the ones that I mostly just buy, because I don't care at that point. Although I think I usually wear my 2B and Ari on Sundays, because they're just easier to wear. You don't have to worry about them breaking too much. You just go and you look nice, and even though 2B has these giant 2-inch heels, it doesn't matter. You look fabulous anyways. So yeah, those are my kind of go-to cosplays.
Yeah. So you're going to, you go to college?
Yes, I do.
What's your ambition to be?
So I am currently in cellular and molecular biology, and I'm also studying Latin. So I'm doing a double major, which is great fun. They promised me I wouldn't die, so I'm holding them accountable if I do. Wanted to go to med school. I really hope to go to med school. It's really tough, and I'm just you see a B on your report card, and you're oh my gosh, they won't accept me. So it's a lot of stress, but cosplay really does help in just calming my nerves and be like, okay, you know, I got like a bad grade on this test.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back. Let's go work on something where like I know I can do it. Like I know I'm good at making like stays or corsets and stuff like that. And like, okay, I'm good at this. Now let's go back to the test and see what we can do and see what we can improve on.
That's awesome. So I'm sure you've made, you know, a lot of friends in the cosplay community. You know, talk a little bit about, you know, the some of the last conventions that you went to, and you know how things are going on now that where we can't go to conventions. How, you know, have you been online, doing anything online, talking to cosplayers, or going, you know, doing panels or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I mean, like the cosplay community has been just fantastic, especially with the pandemic. I mean, there are a bunch of cosplayers who I was in groups with. I mean, we would be going to like conventions and stuff like that, but they just got canceled, unfortunately. But we've been really close, and we've been just trying to get through it. There was Amy E Photography and I we got together like during like midsummer, because we're so bored, like what do we do? And we did like a FaceTime photo shoot, which was really awesome, which I've never done before, and that kind of inspired like and it was actually something that the New York photographers are doing, like the big magazines like Vogue and stuff like that. They were doing these like FaceTime photo shoots, and we're like, oh, that's really cool, like let's do that. And it just kind of it was really fun, and the pictures are not as clear as I would like them to be, but they, you know, it was fantastic experience. But the community also has been taking great strides into making their own little conventions. I cannot tell you how many like little conventions there are. I think not a con is happening next weekend, where I'm like a guest at, and it's yes, and it's like, I think there's also like Blossom Con. So these like little conventions hosted by cosplayers who have absolutely really honestly like no experience hosting these conventions, are taking a big step forward and just hosting their own panels and conventions or cosplay contests that they normally wouldn't have done, which is awesome. And it gives people a chance to like attend conventions during the pandemic, as well as just, you know, be I guess talk to more cosplayers and meet more people. And these I've hosted like countless panels for these conventions, which is awesome. And they're usually pretty small, but there's a very tight-knit group of cosplayers and artists and all these great, awesome people coming together and just having a good time.
That's great. Yeah, hopefully we can get it all back together soon, but that's really great that we can that we can do something.
My hope is writing on Katsucon. Like I hope that Katsucon happens. It's like my last big con.
Yeah. So let's take a look at some of the cosplay here of yours.
Oh, do we have to look at those?
Well, I think they're very good. So I think everybody will agree. Let's see. Besides, you know, your work is really good. You should be proud.
That's what they always
say. But
oh yeah, it's Atlantic Mercy. It's like the last big convention that I went to was Katsu, where I went into Atlantic Mercy, and God, I really loved. Joe Satellite did pictures for me, and it was awesome. Somehow we were able to get pictures at Katsucon. Like those walls kind of behind me, it's impossible to get a spot there. We were like, he like shoved people out of the way. It's like, you're sitting here, and I'm like hobbling along as I like try to like move an armor. He's like, here, just sit here, and I'm like, great. And he's just like, just do things that will make you look pretty out in post. And I'm like, great. So that was fun. I remember like also what's great about Katsucon is the lighting. I mean, people go to Katsucon just to take photos, which is astounding. And so like every picture just was like, the lighting was perfect, and it just hit me in like the right way. It was awesome.
That's great. So yeah, we'll look at this, and let me switch it over to another cosplay here. Tell me if you see this on the screen as well.
Oh yeah, this is one of my Sunday cosplays. This is 2B. This was the last convention that I went to. It was GalaxyCon it was the last one I went to, and this was, I'm trying to remember. It was a great time. My feet killed me afterwards. Little did I, like, I was having such a great time. Little did I know that would be like the last convention for me. I actually did wear this cosplay at Katsucon. And a funny story, so I had a photo shoot at like a certain time, and I was kind of late getting down, but all of the elevators were blocked, and I had to walk down 16 flights of stairs in like
Oh wow.
orange heels. It was fantastic. Like, I got down there in time, but I felt like so gross and sweaty.
Yeah. Well, this who is the photographer on this one? That's really
Oh,
awesome.
Strike and Hide was a great photographer.
Okay.
I was working with them. They have this great like personality. I think they're from like Ireland or Scotland. I think it's Ireland, and they were so much fun to work with. Like, I couldn't keep 2B has a notorious like straight face. I could not keep a straight face. I was just like laughing the whole time. So these like these snapshots of me like holding a serious face are just like one in a million, because like I have like a whole like blooper reel of just me just cracking up at her jokes and like not being able to become 2B.
Awesome. So we'll go over to bring up this one now. This is the Merida.
Yes, Merida. So this design was,
I love it.
Yeah, Sunset Dragons. It was fun. It was really fun to create. Especially, I'm trying to remember. This was at I think NecoCon where I took this, and it was really funny because my I think John View Photography. He took me to this like little bush, because all this is like one big bush, and he's just like, stand here, and somehow he made like this concrete jungle look like a desolated forest, or just like it's like magical, and looks like Will-O-the-Wisp could have been there. But the cosplay was also really fun to make. All like the stuff at the bottom, like all of that is like traditional, that was used in the Brave movie. All that like embroidery that was used on my dress was used on her dress, and it was like couch stitched down. I think it's all like self-patterned as well, and there's like some interesting like ombre techniques, especially with cape. It's like a spray ombre effect. Oh, and the tartan on this was also an interesting story. It is the same tartan that is used in the Brave movie that Pixar copyrighted. So I got it off of like spoon flour, and I printed it off of spoon flour, and I put it on like the dress to make it seem more Scottish even and traditional.
Well, this it's really beautiful photos here. So
No, he did a fantastic job.
awesome.
We were taking pictures in a bush, like in a large bush. Like behind there is like a huge like parking lot. I swear, it was crazy.
Mm-hmm. So we'll go ahead and bring up another cosplay here.
All right.
This is Ari, I believe.
Oh yeah, this is Ari. Yeah, this was the FaceTime photo shoot that I did with Amy E Photography. She did a fantastic job. So I actually went outside on my porch, and I had this like backdrop, and I shoved it up in the backdrop, and I prayed that it would stay. And it was really weird because I had to set up because I'm usually around like 5 different types of like handlers, and they're all just like making me like look nice and pretty, and doing my hair and doing makeup and doing like lights and stuff like that. Like, my God, like lights were like so hard.
Yeah.
I had to do everything. I had to like set up the camera, I had to like set up the lights, I had to set up the backdrop, and that like especially for a cosplayer, like they never do that. I mean, I usually never do that. And it's like at a convention, and it was very interesting to figure out how to do that. And then she took these photos and then edited them as much as little as much as she could. I especially like the picture with like the backdrop of like the pink, where she like took a picture of the phone, and just because it goes to show like this, like the times that we're in right now, and just how, even though we're like, I think I'm not sure where she's from, but it just, even like though the distance is there, I mean, we can still like connect and have a weird photo shoot for Ari.
That's awesome. So
I saw like sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I think like they just came out with the baddest the music video, as well as like the new skins for Ari, and I really want to do it. I'm so tempted.
Yeah. So from what I've seen on your Instagram, you're very creative, and you're making different like crafts and different things. I think I seen a dragon egg or something.
Yeah, this one right here. This was actually in collaboration with Plaid FX. and I'm one of their ambassadors, which I'm very excited for. About, and over the summer I applied, and they sent me like a bunch of stuff, and through Applied FX, because they sent me all the stuff, I got to be like super creative, with just fun, with just like fun like projects. And usually I'm making these like giant projects, like giant dresses, like big builds and stuff like that. And so it was really nice to just like kind of focus it and like hone on just like a little project that would end in like a week, because usually these projects are like, okay, this is 6 months of my life is going to be gone. But it was fun to just chill and relax about like something that you could like finish easily. Never happens.
Yeah. So what have been some of your favorite cosplays to play, and how have they inspired you? How's the characters inspired you to do this?
So I have to say, I think like one of my newest cosplays is like Atlantic Mercy was really fun to create. It was especially with playing an Overwatch character, there was a great amount of like community behind that, and so they were very, very supportive, and it kind of like made me think like, oh, I can actually do foam armor. Like, is this possible? I could actually do foam armor, and I could. It wasn't as clean as I would like it to be because it was my first attempt, but it really just like got me going. And then there was this cosplay way back when I first started cosplaying. It was like Fancy Dreamer Roxy from Homestuck. I went through like this whole Homestuck phase for like I think 2 or 3 years. I'm kind of still into Homestuck, and it was terrible. It was like a giant pink dress, and my mother and I joke that it is a sleeping bag, which it really was. And even though it was falling apart at the end of the convention, it really did inspire me to like, okay, to realize that I really liked making these giant ball gowns and being, up on stage. And it was also the first competition that I entered, and that made me realize like, oh, I love competitions. I love competing. I had this great sense of just I guess competition, and I love winning. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, that's awesome. So, how has your family reacted with your cosplay? Are they supportive of it?
Oh yeah, they're definitely supportive. I mean, they're always making sure. I mean, there is this more sexual side to cosplay that I really don't delve into very much, where it's more NSFW, and they're just like, we were a little bit worried, but they were very understanding about how I did love to do this stuff, and they saw that the things that I was creating was bringing out like this nice, good side of me that just let my imagination run wild. And so they've been like very, very supportive in that department, but they were just a little again like apprehensive about just the sexual side of things. And I'm careful to like not do anything too out there, just for honestly my brand and my sake as well. Like, I don't want to put myself out there and just be super provocative. I just want to create really cool things. I don't want to really focus on my body. I want to focus on the things that I create.
Definitely, that's awesome. So do you have any like cosplays coming up, anything that you're working on? Or?
I'm very excited. I have I've been in I cannot remember the artist name, unfortunately. I might be able to look it up on my phone super quickly, but we've been working, I think back in, their name is Mayhow Shoju on Instagram. Great artist. I contacted them back in September, and I said, I want to make a Pusheen dress. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Pusheen or the Pusheen brand, but it's basically a plushy like cat. Essentially, there's a whole like line of like plushies, and people are like pretty obsessed with them. Like they're kind of a collector's item, and they have over like 1 million followers on Instagram. So it's a pretty big toy brand, and I'm obsessed with Pusheen. I love Pusheen, and I'm currently making a Pusheen dress right now. Like
that's awesome. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's kind of like hard to explain, and like my worst fear is like going to, because Pusheen is very a simplistic design, and I'm gonna be worried that like when I go to convention that people are like not gonna recognize me, and I'm like, I'm gonna hold the Pusheen and I'm gonna embroider like pizza and donuts on my dress, and I'm using like this minky fabric, which is the same material that Pusheen is made out of, to like cover myself, and just I'm hoping that people recognize me as Pusheen.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could do like a side by side, but even if it's doesn't look exactly like what you did, something of that, something of the style that it is or whatever of that brand, Pushy, whatever, on one side, and the other side. That way they're like, oh, this is what that is. And then they're like,
But
just
yeah, no, I was talking to like a bunch of my friends and just like, okay, how do I bring this character to life? And like the biggest thing that they were saying is you have to get the colors right. And I really couldn't agree more. And Pusheen is she has very interesting colors. The lighter gray that is on her, that is like her coat color is honestly becoming a larger task than I thought. It's because it's this really weird color that cannot be found anywhere, and I'm sure it's copyrighted, like the color. So that like you can't find the exact Pusheen fabric and like make Pusheen replicas and stuff like that. But they were just very adamant about just making it clearly Pusheen. Like you have like the tail and you have like the little stripes in the back, and Pusheen is also very obsessed with like pizza and donuts. Just very like cute. She like has like little plushies of her like whole like eating pizza and donuts. So it's like, okay, we have to embroider pizza and donuts onto it. There's like little paw prints throughout because she's like a cat. So it was just trying to like figure out just like little details that would make it more obvious to people from like either close or far away that this is a plushie. I'm cosplaying like a plushie.
So how do you deal with like con crunch and also on the other side, like procrastination of where you should be working on something? How do you not get burnt out on doing it? And
definitely. I don't deal with con crunch very well. Let's say that. When I get into con crunch, I'm with a roommate, and she's aware that the dorm is going to be a disaster for the next 2 weeks. Like I was like, okay, like I sit her down and I'm like, okay, it's Katsucon. And she's just like, I know. Okay, I'm moving out. Okay, you just take the whole dorm. It's that kind of relationship with con crunch that I have, and you just get frantic. And unfortunately, with school, I mean, you really have to balance like school and con crunch, especially when it comes to Katsucon. I mean, Katsucon is like the biggest event of the season. I mean, if it happens this year, I do have like a hotel room. I have these things planned, and sometimes life happens or like a test happens, and you have to be aware that like during Katsu crunch there might be, or any con crunch, that there might be a test that you have to take or a quiz, and you have to like put it's like set it aside. Like, okay, school is more important than cosplay, and that is like something that I stress so much. Like, it doesn't matter what part are you on the cosplay or how close the con is. Like, school comes first, and yeah, that's quite fun. And what was the second part of your question? I was
like procrastination, or getting distracted, or with all the social media going on, or
so I do procrastinate a lot sometimes, although I've become a lot better in just planning things out. I have this like nice little calendar that I got, and like I write like everything down on it, when before I would be just like all the dates are in my head and they're just kind of floating around there. So and it goes like with again like anything school related as well. Like I try not to procrastinate as much as I used to. And you just kind of have to like set a time for yourself. Like if you have a quiz, you start studying like 4 or 5 days before. If you have a test, you study like 2 weeks before or something like that. And then with cosplay, you just start maybe 2 years in advance, something like that. But usually with like, especially with like Katsucon, I usually start planning my cosplays around beginning of August. So I have all this time, especially like during like winter break. Winter break is like when I get most of my stuff done. Although it does bleed over into like the second part of the semester. It's not fun, but I find cosplay so much fun to do, and I find the creative process so much fun, and it's such a great stress reliever for me. I don't find it really a chore. So I would honestly procrastinate on my schoolwork than cosplay.
Yeah. So when when somebody wants to get into cosplay and they kind of just don't know where to start, or they're kind of don't want to step out to do contests and really get into cosplaying, what advice would you have for them?
So if you're curious about getting into cosplay, I would say do it. Oh my gosh, do it. I've never had a better experiences in my life than being on a con floor at like 2 a.m. It's a rush. Just one big stigma against the cosplay community is like buying buying cosplays versus making cosplays. So if you want to just like buy a cosplay off of Amazon, there is no shame for you. Just go buy it. Like usually it's like so much cheaper because making a cosplay versus buying a cosplay is so expensive. I mean, a cosplay on Amazon will be like $50, and to make it will be like $150. So if you don't have like the money to make your cosplay or the creativity or the skill to do it, just buy cosplay now and then work your way up. Do not ever think you can like sew a pillowcase, then just make like an 18th century ball gown. That's bad. Work your way up as well. Like don't start with like the hardest thing like a World of Warcraft cosplay when you've never like worked on armor before. Like with my Mercy, I wear it's like, okay, well there's like shin guards and there's leg armor, so there's like a bit of armor, but it's not like covered in armor. And then if you're curious about getting into contests, I would say totally do it. Of course, people do get stage fright, and I have a very competitive nature. So I don't really have as much stage fright as other people do. But hall costume contests or these online contests that are happening right now during COVID are a great way to get into the competing community. It's quite fun. With a hall costume contest, you go and see the judges. That's it. You talk to them for a little bit. If you're like worried just that they'll judge you, well, it's kind of like their job. But just know that they've been in your shoes and that they're rooting for you at the heart of it. And of course, with these COVID cosplay contests, there are so many different groups. You can have like, I think the last convention that I went to, there was half bot, half made, bot cosplays, made cosplays, and then they had like novice, journeyman, and master. And so that there are so many opportunities. It's just like, why not? It becomes the question of just like, okay, you're a little afraid of getting in front of the judges, but like, just why not do it other places? So just definitely just throw your head in the game. It's fun.
So, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Oh, of course. So I'm on Instagram at Electric Seafoam. I have a website, also Electric Seafoam. I'm on Facebook at Electric Seafoam. I'm on Twitter at Electric Seafoam. And basically anywhere else, I'm Electric Seafoam. I think I have a YouTube channel too. I made that a while ago. I think I still have it. But my main source of content comes from Instagram. So if you're curious about following me, please go follow me there. I have great Pusheen content. I have I'm making on a Slytherin dress right now at the moment, which I forgot to mention, but I'm making like a Slytherin dress for like Halloween. So if you're curious about any of that, or just have any questions about competing or, cosplay while in college, it can be very tough sometimes, Oh, yeah, there it is. There's me. Just like message me. I love talking to people. It's fun. I need more friends. 486 is not enough. I need like 10,000.
Mm-hmm. So yes, let's bring this up here. Oh
yeah, there's my email address too. You can find me there too. Apparently.
Awesome. So while we're wrapping this up, I want to tell everybody that we do have the magazine currently available for last month here for September 2020, and we were doing a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, and we'll go ahead and show you that here.
Yeah, I actually got this magazine. It's really nice. It's some great cosplays in there.
That's really awesome. Did we have we featured you in this one?
No, not this one. You said it was like the next one, I believe.
Oh, yes. So we will be, we'll definitely be having you featured in our October edition. And we're also going to have another edition right after that, which is our Halloween edition. So we're going to have 2 issues actually this month. So you can make sure you can go over, just go over to cosplayzine.com, click submit cosplay. In the site menu, you just click submit cosplay and you'll see the form there, and you can just fill out and submit your photos, and they may be accepted for the next issue.
Super easy
Um,
to do. It takes like 5 seconds.
yes.
I promise.
Thanks. Yeah. And then we also have our cosplaygoals.com website. Are you seeing are you seeing this backwards or forwards? I want to make
I
sure.
think forwards. I believe it's forwards. Yes.
Okay. I think it might be just backwards on my screen. Okay. Um, but yes, you can go over there and fill out an account, and you can connect with all the cosplayers on there. It's super easy to make an account. Pretty much works a lot like most social networking websites. You can post your status or share your photos and like other people's photos, and you can also connect and follow different people on there. So we'll be doing different features on there. We want to showcase some cosplayers by maybe doing some cosplay panels and putting them on our social network as well. So look forward to all those updates coming up soon. And Electric Seafoam, really enjoyed having you on here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's
Appreciate
nice to just relax and talk about cosplay for a little bit. It's like the stress of school. I had to read the Iliad to my class today, which was in Latin, which was quite a task. So it was just nice to relax and talk about something I love.
Yeah. So for the last question, you're obviously in school and you're trying to go towards a career, and you're also cosplaying, and I don't know if you do commissions or if you're just focused on cosplaying and doing competitions and stuff like that, but how do you balance it all?
Oh God, that's something I ask myself every day. I don't really do commissions because I want them to usually go on with them, want them done by a certain convention, and sometimes I can't promise that. Although we create a nice steady income, a lot of what I use to pay for cosplay comes from competitions. So I'll enter just different cosplays and different competitions, and that'll give me enough to kind of sponsor my next cosplay, which is really great. So I get to and usually the cosplay pays for itself, which is fantastic. So I think my Atlantic Mercy, I earned enough money to cover the cost of Atlantic Mercy,
Yes.
which is great. It's we break even, which is half the battle sometimes. But just balancing all three, it is hard because sometimes tests and quizzes are due on a weekend where there's a convention, and you have to drop everything. And again, it's always school first. Because cosplay is something I'm very passionate about, and it is something that's very near and dear to my heart, but it's still a hobby. And school is going to be my career, and maybe I will keep this hobby for the rest of my life. But it matters that I get an A in the class and not award, maybe CTV too. So, but it's
Definitely.
there's many nights where you just you're how can I do this, and I'm not sure if I can get an A in this class because I work too much on cosplay. But you got to power through it. It's a battle.
Definitely. So thanks so much for coming on, and make sure you follow her on all social media. We will be posting that down in the description, and we'll be trying to do this more frequently, as far as interviews, and also have a small cosplay show featuring various people and various shout outs, doing a lot of stuff like that. So we'll be actually mentioning our interview here on our next cosplay show. Shout out that way. Everybody gets to see
It all
and
cycles through.
it all, yeah, it all kind of meshes up. It's like, hey, this is what you missed on the previous ones. They might want
last
to,
episode.
yeah.
Last time
On Cosplay Zine. This happened.
the announcer voice in.
Enjoy it. Yes. Working on my theatrical voice there, but yeah, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
So much fun.
Yeah. And we would love to have you maybe do a panel on our site. That would be really awesome if you ever have the time.
I have all these panels that are kind of pre-done, so I can just pop on anytime you need me. I would love to.
Oh, that sounds great. So yeah, just contact us, and really thanks again, and have a great night.
Thank you. Have a great night as well.
Mhm.